This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained?
Welcome back to the Rugby Odds, and welcome to our esteemed stellar panel of King Gift Egbelu and three-time Olympic Sevens coach Mike Friday, along with George Hook, the Irish rugby legend. He'll be joining us later. And absent today is John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE Hall of Fame return rugby advocate, because he's too busy making grok versions of My Virtual Demise. And you can see the latest one here with the T-Rex and Peter O'Mahony and Brian Sheehy down at CBA Academy in New Jersey. Check it out. I don't like the messaging. And I think HR is going to have a conversation and sit down with him.
I think the T-Rex was HR.
That's pretty much it. Yes, yeah, especially if he's involved. All right, fellas, before we get to our first recurring segment, what caught your eye? How about the records? 18-14. Gift, you and I brought up the rear. Mike and John had winning records. We were at 500, which is not acceptable on a gambling show, so we have to pick it up a notch this week. Mike, congratulations, but you did lose your pick of the week because you picked against Team USA, Mike. You picked against Team USA, and they beat Romania.
I inspired them. That was probably the catchphrase on the wall. Let's prove Mike wrong. No moonshine today. Just moonshine.
Psychological warfare, the genius of a three-time Olympic Sevens coach. That's at work there. All right, well, now let's move right along to our first recurring segment. What caught your eye? Mike Friday, what caught your eye?
PMOs. And the wording that World Rugby on this, always illegal, therefore it has to be a red. It has to be context when there's two players involved. That Mostart red is never a red. Never a red. Now, the fact it was always illegal, because in theory they don't think he used the wrap, I understand that. But what you can't do is not take into consideration the mitigation of that other player that caused the drop in height. The bloke's 6'8" and he's dropped down. So I've got a big issue with World Rugby. They need to look at that. They need to get it right, because they're killing us. The red card, the yellow cards in the Wales-Japan game were a farce as well, as was probably the red card in the Wales game. But World Rugby need to look at the wording, and we need to realise that it's a dynamic sport, which means that there will be head contacts, but it has to be intentional. Reckless, I think, is what's causing the problem. It has to be intentional for it to be a permanent red. It needs to be intentional foul play, not reckless.
And Mike, we talked off camera a little bit, but maybe you could shed some more light on this. How will these red cards impact South Africa against Ireland? Because that's a big game. And will they be mitigated because of the ridiculousness of them?
I don't think so. I don't think there will be. And I think probably Razzie's accepted that and he's moved on. I mean, he's very fortunate that he's got about 6 or 8 Yetis that he can pick from. But, and, you know, he's picking his 23 accordingly, right? I mean, he's picking his 23 on the basis he thinks he loses and plays some of the game with 14 players, which is a joke. So I think it's solvable, and I don't think it's anybody's fault. But I think they need to look at this wording on always illegal, which means it has to be a permanent red. When there's mitigation, when there's a dynamic context to a contact, and there's more than one person, and was it intentional foul play, or was it reckless? Because if it's reckless, it shouldn't be a permanent red. I get the yellow upgraded to the 20-minute red. I understand that, but we don't want to be ruining games unnecessarily.
And imagine how good South Africa would be if they played with 15 players each week.
I don't know whether the fact that it probably does them a favour when they lose one, because suddenly then they get a little bit eggy, they get a little bit more aggressive. So I don't know. I mean,
got a little something to prove in their action after.
Exactly.
Gift, what caught your eye this week?
I got to give Steve Borthwick a lot of credit. You know, last year I definitely was like, hey, this guy is gimmeling it up. Like, he doesn't win anything major. He's definitely come and turned around with that. This England team just continues to soar, and, you know, begrudgingness of everybody. We got to give England their credit. They're winning when it matters. give credit where credit is due. Borthwick is increasing, and he's not being as soft as I expected him to be over the time. I did think he had a countdown till replacement, and looks like he wants to be there for another Rugby World Cup cycle or so. So
big shout out to Lee Blackett, right? New attack coach for them. He's given them a new dimension and added. So, hat tip to Borthwick for recruiting and bringing him in, but let's not underestimate. I think Blackett's made a massive difference to their mindset and the way that they attack.
I'm here for giving credit to anybody else, man. Let's go.
A gift. You know what? You just proved that you're the people's king, because a king doesn't have to own up to a mistake or admit maybe a mistake, and you just did with Borthwick. That's amazing. That's why you're the king.
It's why I can also be able to make fun of everybody else the same way.
All right, a couple of things caught my eye. Number one, Wales finally got off the schneid, and that's a losing streak, a schneid, and they got off of it, but it wasn't easy. They needed some help. Ireland scored 30 points for the first time ever against Australia. And Tig Furlong and Tig Beirne are on their way to your house, Mike, to finally get you to pronounce their name correctly.
Tad, I'm with them. They're not finding their way to Southeast London, these two. Definitely not.
I don't know if they'll find that funny. They might find it a tad funny, but we'll see.
Just a tad.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Can we also add the fact that Scotland is legitimately like the Penn State of rugby? They are the Minnesota Vikings. They are the New York Jets. They are the LA Clippers of international rugby. Choke.
Just an inexcusable loss at Murrayfield. Inexcusable. I mean, do heads roll for this, Mike?
I don't know. I mean, I was just gobsmacked by what happened at Murrayfield with the Scottish. I don't know.
Where did Finn go?
You can't underestimate how good Carreras was. It was breathtaking. I've never seen such a change in an international game by one player. Yeah. Amazing. He finned Finn. Like literally, he finned Finn.
Let's move along to our recurring segment, Player of the Week. The candidates are Mack Hansen. In his first start as fullback for Ireland, he scored a hat trick within a 27-minute span. He was also unbelievable in the air with a magnetic relationship with the ball, helping the home team kick the snot out of his homeland, as he is Australian gift, in case you were wondering. Santiago Carreras, the fly-half for Argentina, who came off the bench with his team trailing 21-0 in a hostile environment, authors the biggest comeback in Pumas history, absolutely stunning the Murrayfield crowd. Damian Willemse, the number 15, but his team played with 14 for the Springboks in their second consecutive week without a lock. But his calm and class helped the Boks beat back Italy, who will be ruining missed opportunities. Mike, who is your player of the week?
Well, all I can say is wow, 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 wow. Santiago Carreras, wow. You just got to be in awe of his performance to totally transform a test match in 30 minutes from 21-0 down. He is the reason they won that. Unbelievable. Carreras, phenomenal.
Gift.
Yeah, look, man, I'm going. It's so obvious. Santiago Carreras. You have a person like that who shows, all right, this is a team that you have to not just take seriously, but they're always a contender. One person changes a whole game and takes it back, and Pumas did it, and they won.
That's a great pick, but he didn't play the entire match, although he was scintillating.
That's what makes it even more.
He did it in 20 minutes.
Hold on.
56 minutes in, 21.
Hold on. Damian Willemse played with 14 players on his team for 70 minutes. 70.
Yeah, but in South Africa, they were ahead the entire time.
Was he playing? Did he play?
All right. Okay. You know what? Message sent. So, despite what I'm trying to say and my weighted pick, management has determined that Mack Hansen is this week's Player of the Week.
He didn't play 80 either.
Now let's go to your favorite segment, Gift.
Grown-ass man!
And the candidates are Ryan Baird, Ireland's number 6. Anytime the announcers mention you in the running for player of the match and then you score a try, a key try the minute after they finish speaking, that's a grown-ass man action. Pablo Matera, like his Argentinian teammate Carreras, the talismanic back rower came off the bench and injected instant physicality and the pivotal try and got the attention of Coach Mike Friday, who also had good words for Scottish hooker Ewan Ashman. In the words of Mike, physical and dynamic, carrying and scoring 2 big tries in the first 50 minutes, subbed out in the 60th minute, which may hurt him in this voting process. Mike, who's your grown-ass man?
Well, up until 50 minutes, it was Ewan Ashman. And then they unleashed this angry Argentinian who obviously hadn't been fed any red meat for the whole week. This dude, Matera, for an Argentinian time who looked lackluster the first 50, he came on and he just tore it up physically. Both sides of the ball, smashing people, carrying, close court work. Matera, different level. Fantastic.
And he had that look in his eye, like a smile on his, like,
proper.
give me more.
But I think he was upset because Kramer wasn't even in the 23 with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matera was outstanding.
Gift.
Yeah, again, I'm going to follow in Coach's pathway. Matera, absolutely grinder. Busting heads. You could name, honestly, any party on this team for Argentina. They're part of this grown-ass man or player of the week. I'm sorry, nobody else is winning this one off of any other team.
I could tie it up with my weighted pick here.
Your weighted pick of the pick that nobody actually said.
And pick Ryan Baird, who had a great match, but so many other Irish players played very well. And you only go into Murrayfield and give up 21 points and come back from a win. Well, never. So I'm going to agree with you guys and say Pablo Matera.
This week's grown-ass man.
All right, on that note, we're going to take a break. Let George come in. He's going to vent about a lot of different things. And then we'll have you guys come back and give picks all after this.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we're back, and we're welcoming back Mr. George Hook, calling in from Ireland. George, how are you?
I am good. I can't say the same about my beloved game of rugby, but G Hook is okay.
All right, you look good. You got a sharp shirt, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to our recurring segment.
Headlines with Hook.
The headline, 100 years turned on its head. George.
100 years turned on its head. Now, what do I mean by that? Like, New Zealand are not expected to lose by record scores. They're not to, and they are way below anything I have seen since I saw them 71 years ago. All right? So, whatever your audience may think, Hook has history.
You have a sample size.
Then we look at Wales getting through against Japan, but in effect losing because the referee got the whole thing hopelessly wrong. He should have given a scrum, he would have blown the whistle, Japan would have won. And then you look at Scotland with the game wrapped up. There has never been a defeat for Scotland like this. I can't remember where. And I go back to 1951 when the Springboks put over 40 points past them. This is the most embarrassing result for them. Now, how has this happened? Eddie Jones actually got it right. Eddie Jones said, this game is in danger of being ended. They're not his words, but that's what he meant. And there's a great thing about Hamlet, that you couldn't have Hamlet the play without the Prince of Denmark, you couldn't have it. Now, could you have rugby without these idiot referees who think they are the most important people on the pitch? The performance of doing pictures over and over again, giving lectures, not on the law, actually giving coaching lectures. We will lose the audience. Once you lose the audience, the game is done.
All right. So we had Ireland scoring 30 points against Australia for the first time. That goes to what you're talking about for a team like Australia or a program like Australia.
I was delighted to see Joe Schmidt humiliated. This was enormous pleasure to me. Gave me 8 hours unbroken sleep. But, like, Schmidt was always the wrong choice for Australia. His view of the game and Australia's view of the game are diametrically opposite. But for Australia to lose by record amount, to lose consistently now, is simply awful. And the game in Australia has always had a difficult position. It's always had to fight a battle for media space, for audience, for everything. It's going to lose that if it performs like this. Happily, Schmidt is leaving, but what he has done may well be terminal to the Australian national game. And although I'm cheerful about Joe Schmidt, I'm very unhappy about Australia. If you're of a particular age, you remember the great coach Alan Jones. You remember all these great moments for Australia. David Campese on the wing. They brought something to the game. They're not doing that now. And then New Zealand, like, how are New Zealand going to work this? They're not the kingpins anymore. They're just about number 2 in the rankings, but only barely. I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer. And this is why you may actually need to retire me early, because it is very difficult for me to know where this game is going. I mean, where rugby is at the moment is about akin to Hitler's invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1938.
Maybe
Didn't know what it meant. Now we don't know what these series of results means. And also, I'm not a fan of this series of matches anyway, which mean that next summer England flies 17,500 miles to fulfill fixtures. I know air travel's better or all that sort of stuff, but we are putting the game in a very difficult position. So I must give you an answer. It would be wrong of me not to give you an answer.
it would.
So the first thing you do is sack the bunker. So now the referee has to go back where referees were for 100 years, make a decision. It was never the intention of the bunker to go back about 17 plays to find a reason why we disallow something. You should be able to go back. Is it a try or not a try? I'm fine with that. But anything else, no.
All right, that's basically it. But I can't let you go without asking you, is there more of an Irish fly half controversy now than there was before?
Absolutely. Hook wrong again. Hook is in the sin bin. To Prendergast's everlasting credit, and it is a credit to his mental strength, that he brought in one of the best performances under the greatest pressure. But we are looking at 2 fly halves who aren't fit to lace the boots of Sexton or Campbell or Dean or Kyle. You know, they're not that.
Or O'Gara.
Or even my beloved O'Gara from Cork, even though he was born in Santiago. Exactly. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we could talk about this, and we should talk about this some more next time. But in the meantime, that is this week's
Headlines with Hook.
Thank you, George Hook.
Thanks, and God bless you.
Likewise. We'll be right back with King, Gift Egbelu, and Mike Friday with picks after this.
Been blind since I was 4. And I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste. And my beer's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
It is eating season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. At Health Enhanced Foods, we got 17 baking mixes to be able to help enhance your holiday meals. Whether you're gluten-free, you need ketogenic, whether you are low FODMAP, whatever your special dietary need is, we have a baking mix for you. Go to healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead and use coupon code Rugby Odds to be able to get 25% off your first order. Let's get this season going. And honestly, whatever Matt's about to say next, just ignore it. It's not even worth it.
And we are back, and it's time for us to make some picks. Let's continue with autumn tests. The first one up, Wales versus New Zealand. New Zealand minus 28.5, Mike.
Yeah, I think New Zealand bounced back here. I think they got a point to prove. Wales were fortunate to get the win against Japan. I think New Zealand win and cover.
Gift.
Same. New Zealand to get the anger revenge on Wales.
I'm going for Wales because that's too many points, and they're coming off their first taste of a victory in about 10 years. So I think they're going to play on the front foot, as you guys say over there, and with some momentum. I think 28.5 is too many points. Ireland versus South Africa. South Africa, away favorites, minus 6.5, Mike.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, but I just don't think Ireland are playing well enough. I think, they beat Australia, but it was a tired Australian team. They haven't been convincing, and this South Africa team find a way every time, all the time. So I think South Africa win, and I do think they'll cover the 6.5.
Gift.
I'm going to cover in with Ireland to be able to cover this one, but I don't think they win.
I think South Africa is just too good. I think South Africa wins this game in Ireland. It's stunning for me to say that, I know. All right, the next one up, France, minus 15.5 versus Australia, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Australians are hanging on, and I think the French, again, they've rotated, but I think France will win and cover.
Gift.
I mean, they played a close game against Fiji. As Mike said, I think there's a lot of rotation. I'm actually going to give Australia to be able to cover this one. I think they make up for their loss this past week.
Oof, this is a tough one. Which French team is going to show up? I'm going to go with it on paper. I'm going to say France covers that spread. England at home versus Argentina, 9.5. Is that too many points, Mike?
I think this game is going to be absolutely, because this is on Sunday afternoon, is going to be monstrous. I think the RG smell blood. They fancy it. They'll be right up for it. I think all of their physical animals will play. Carreras will definitely start as well. He won't rest there. He rested and rotated last week to allow him to pick what he wants to pick this week. I don't know who wins this game, but they definitely don't win by 9.5. So I pick Argentina.
Gift.
This one is different because this England team is coming in strong. I mean, I consider it an absolute domination of that New Zealand team, all things considering. But they did just come off a domination. Both of them coming off of high wins. It's in Twickenham.
Yeah.
Give it to England to cover this one, but I think it's going to be close. I think it will be like a 10-point game. I think Argentina might get overwhelmed by crowd.
Argentina, big win. And Mike, as you called, they had players resting. England, though, you got to give England credit. They just beat New Zealand, a good team, and they're at home. I think England covers it. I think England covers and wins. Call me crazy. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with some more internationals and our picks of the week after this.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now.
Urban Rugby America is an organization worthy of your attention and donations as it helps kids that are at risk through rugby, and it's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch as well. Indeed, our very own John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE Hall of Famer, highly recommends Urban Rugby America and is working closely with Urban Rugby America. But please, don't hold that against him. Urban Rugby America. Your donation can change a life. Here's the link where you can donate and find out more. Hey, U.S. fans, you can tune into every match live on Flow Rugby. How do we know that? Because we're on there all the time. And we're back, and we have Italy minus 23.5 versus Chile. Gift.
Yeah, Italy covering this one with ease.
Mike.
Italy covering this with ease.
Italy covering this one with ease is right. Scotland minus 42.5 versus Tonga. Mike.
Covering this with ease, Scotland.
42.5.
Yeah.
Gift.
My condolences to Tonga on this game. They're getting the full-fledged Scottish anger, the battle cry, the bagpipes. Yeah, Scotland to cover this one. 42.5 might not be enough.
I'm going to make another losing pick on the internationals here because I think Scotland's going to rest people and take it easy on Tonga. I think 42.5 is too many points.
This is the same Tonga team that didn't they lose to USA? And Scotland rested a load of players against them and still put 80 on them.
That was a different time, Mike. It was an entirely different era. It was last week. All right, valid point. I'll probably eat that one, but I'm going to stick to it. Rugby World Cup qualifiers were held earlier this week on a Tuesday, nonetheless. But Samoa, despite being 28-point favorites, tied Belgium 13-13 and back in to that last spot in the Rugby World Cup. Meanwhile, Namibia and Brazil played, and it was a slobber knocker, according to America's Rugby News. But, Gift, you bet against your boys from Brazil.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to walk around your neighborhood, Gift.
I mean, look, I give a lot of credit, but
he's in Brazil, folks. He lives in Brazil.
Sao Paulo, man. You guys are still a little bit of not doing what you're supposed to do. But, shout out to my guys out there who playing on the team.
Don't you hear that? That's the knocking on Gift's door by the players.
Double lock them doors, kid.
Gates for a reason.
And now we're up to the top 14 and then picks of the week. Top 14, Mike, what do you like?
Obviously, a lot of the Frenchies are playing. So I'm going to go for an away win. Pau to win away at Bordeaux.
Oh, Gift.
Yeah, I can't take that kind of risk. I'm going to go Stade Francais to cover against Toulon at home. I could never.
I'm same thought process, Gift. I'm going with Racing 92 minus 7.5 versus Bayonne. Not the Bayonne from New Jersey, but the Bayonne from France. Racing wins that one. And now it's time for John's favorite part of the show, Picks of the Week. Mike, who's your pick of the week?
Again, I'll go. My pick of the week will be another away French win, and that will be Toulouse to cover and win at Montauban.
Gift.
Give it to England. Argentina might get overwhelmed.
I'm going with the over in the Wales versus New Zealand match with mostly New Zealand scoring, and it will be over 50 points. And on that note, we are out of time. I want to thank John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE Hall of Famer turned rugby advocate turned grok artist. King Gift Egbelu, the inventor of words. Mike Friday, the three-time Olympic sevens coach. George Hook, the Irish rugby legend. Thank you for tuning in. Please check out MLR Weekly. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. And please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.